And as people are coming in, they're realizing that there's too many to hold in the tiny Faneuil Hall. The outcome is they'll end up with 5,000 people. So they actually adjourned the meeting, the famous Tea Party meeting, from Faneuil Hall over to the Old South Meeting House. And we know what happened from that meeting, right? March to the harbor, dumping the tea. And even though it actually happened as an offshoot of the Old South meeting, Faneuil Hall got the credit. And it actually became known as the Cradle of Liberty. And the rest of our story involves people coming here because of that original meeting, bringing their causes and their complaints to Faneuil Hall to kind of rub the magic of Faneuil Hall on their own cause.
244 years ago, in this very body of water, Boston's Sons of Liberty demonstrated leadership to a fledgling nation when they boarded the 3 ships at Griffin's Wharf and destroyed 92,000 pounds of tea to protest taxation without representation and a government descending into tyranny. Tonight, we commemorate the single most important event leading up to the American Revolution.
Welcome, friends. My name is George Robert Twelves Hughes, and we now continue with our story of December 16th, 1773. It's a cold night. Perhaps we can warm it up a bit. Yes. Almost 3 weeks ago, the first ship carrying English East India Company tea arrived here in Boston's harbor. The following morning, broadsides were posted all about the town, calling a meeting, a massive meeting of the body of the people to form a united resistance against the detestable tea. In those meetings, we resolved that this tea must never be unloaded, for if it is landed, we must pay a tax upon it. And my friends, we will not pay that tax!
Don't pay the tax! Don't pay the tax!
It has been requested of these officials several times over to send these ships back from whence they came.
Send the ships back!
Every request has been denied. Governor Hutchinson himself, only an hour ago, refused a pass for these ships to depart. And the royal authorities affirm once again that the tea must be landed by midnight tonight and that tax must be paid. My friends, it is come time to act! We have just come from a massive meeting of the body of the people at Old South Meeting House, here to Griffin's Wharf with a great opportunity before us. I call upon every one of you, every friend of his country, every friend to posterity, to make your voices heard tonight. Cheer with me, huzzah! 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 340 chests of East India Company tea were contained on 3 ships, the Dartmouth, the Eleanor, and the Beaver, here at Griffin's Wharf. We were divided into 3 parties, and each ordered to destroy the tea on each ship. We were surrounded by armed ships of war, the Kingfisher, the Active, the Captain. I immediately dressed in the costume of a Mohawk, painted my face with lamp black and soot, and joined hundreds of others descending upon the scene.
As customs officer on this wharf, I must demand you all return to your homes! Out of the way, sir! You will not keep us from this tea! This tea is legitimate cargo shipped by the East India Company, which the law plainly demands must be unloaded and taxed! Legitimate cargo! We would rather drown the tea than pay an unjust tax! An assault upon this cargo is an assault upon the crown!
Stay that club, sir. This path, 'tis wide enough for us all. We have nothing to do with you and intend you no harm. If you would go your way peaceably, we shall go ours.
Very well. We shall see how well His Majesty's law will keep you and yours.
Why, sir? Captain Hezekiah Coffin, sir. I request permission to board your vessel.
For what purpose, sir? This vessel has been struck by the pox. We've only just yesterday warped in from Rainsford Island.
Lord Captain, it's the tea we want, and the tea we shall have!
Sir, I must protest! I beg you not to damage this cargo. These tea chests are covered with goods belonging to various merchants in town. Goods that cannot be damaged. If I allow you permission to board my ship, I must have your word, sir, that no harm will come to my crew or any of the other cargo on board this vessel.
Agreed, sir. If you go to your quarters quietly and do not prevent us from our office, not one single article of goods on board shall fall to harm.
Very well. Appears I have no choice but to take you at your word. Permission granted. Men, secure those lines! Jethro! Sir? Kindly go to my cabin and retrieve the keys to the hold. We'll not have these Sons of Liberty tear the ship apart to get to their prize.
Mr. Hughes! Aye, sir! Follow that man and retrieve those keys.
Yes, sir! Mr. Hughie! Aye, Captain. Find some lanterns for these men. The rest of you, down to your bunks you go. Say not a word and make no attempt to interfere with these men. And if you feel so inclined, you may assist them in their duties.
Captain Pitts, I've got the key! Very well then, where are my North Enders? Let's see, Mr. Howard, Mr. Ingersoll, oh, Mr. Burton, sir. Head on down there, rig up that block and tackle and, you in there! Go down the forehatch and prep the tea for hoisting. And a lot of you, amidships now! Well done, gentlemen. Head on down. Mr. Hughes, open up that hold. And Lord, they would rob you of your rights. They would make you subjects, vassals to a greedy monarchy, and this tea is the tool they would use to do so. I say, let them hear us now! Our governor has requested we unload this cargo of tea. I say, let's oblige him!
Destruction of public peace and good order of the said town, in which commotions and insurrections, certain valuable cargoes of teas, being the property of the East India Company, and on board certain vessels lying within the bay or harbor of Boston, were seized and destroyed. In His Majesty's province, an attempt hath lately been made to throw off the authority of the Parliament of Great Britain, and an actual and avowed resistance by open force to the execution of certain acts of Parliament hath been suffered to take place uncontrolled and unpunished. Be it enacted, the port of Boston is hereby closed.
4,000 soldiers have been placed within our homes, within our very bowels, within our places of worship. General Burgoyne's troops have even desecrated Old South Meeting House, that very building that once quaked with the words of Adams and Otis, with Hancock and Warren, is now nothing more than a stable for horses. We here in these colonies are suffering the stroke of vengeance and the common cause of America.
These intolerable acts laid more kindling upon the fires of revolution. This dispute between England and her colonies was no longer about taxes. It had evolved. Something changed in the hearts and minds of the people.
Freedom! For the first time, 12 of the 13 colonies are united in one continental Congress, and many are now prepared to lay down their lives for a cause they deem worthy of so great a sacrifice.
16 months after the tea was destroyed in Boston Harbor, I was rowed across to the Charlestown shore as 2 lanterns were placed in Old North Church. From there, I rode through the countryside sounding the alarm as British regiments marched on Lexington and Concord, where the shot heard round the world was fired.
The Boston Tea Party was the single most important event leading to the American Revolution, and I, George Robert Twelves Hughes, was there!